or in political science, really was astonishing. The amount of work we could do. And examination time was so exciting, because here you were setting yourself up against an external standard. No matter how much you despise the right-wing historians and sociologists who were marking your papers, but you were setting yourself up against an external standard. And were you stir crazy? After 1 or 2 years it doesn't matter, it's not a problem. After 10, 12, 15 years you begin to feel, hey, this is going on a bit long. I know myself very well. 5 to 10 years would have been enough to know my strengths and weaknesses. I think 22 years was a bit excessive, but you don't have a choice. So studies were important, mental health was important. I had occasion, long time after prison, after I was released, I was at Manchester University talking to a gathering like this, and there was a Palestinian comrade present. He was a bit hostile to me at first, this white South African, until he heard me speak. And then we travelled back from Manchester to London together. We must have been on a slow train, I think it took about 4 hours, and we laughed about prison. He said, when you came out of prison, did you have time trouble? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, could you keep appointments? And I said, no, I found it very difficult. I'd never seen television before. And there I was sitting watching these exciting 30-second ads that tell such an exciting, sexy story about coffee or something like that. And absolutely engrossed, with my foot up in the bed with the shoe half on. And just sitting there until my wife said, haven't you better done? Shouldn't you get dressed? And I say, yeah, but I don't know which shoes to put on. Should I wear the brown shoes or the black shoes? In prison, you don't have a choice. And you have one pair of stinky socks and one stinky shirt, so you don't have choices, and now you've got choices. We laughed about this all the way, and we laughed about the way in which we trained warders. You'd have a new young warder came in out of the training college, the prison training college. He might be about 18 or 19 years old, straight out of school and training college. And he would open the doors with great big clatter and bang, and they steel and they can resound through your head. They can open them quietly or noisily, or close them quietly with a bang. And young men have no sense of authority, natural authority. They use this power over you. And after some days, almost invariably, a new young warder would say, why don't you greet me? And whoever was asked would say something like, well, when you learn to behave with respect and greet, then maybe you'll get an answer. I'm not allowed to speak to you. The absurdity. And so gradually, they would learn that it doesn't pay to mess with prisoners, especially prisoners who can call on lawyers who will defend them. And then their officers get annoyed. There's a better word, pissed off, because they've got to write reports to the next higher rank who wants a report until they're told, behave yourself. Took 15 years. The same in Palestinian prisons. And I was so pleased with this comrade. I don't remember his name, but if you tell the story, somebody's sure to say, it was me. And but it was such a joyful occasion. And what struck me was how these attitudes are shared. That you survive because you have to survive. You've done what you've done because you have to do it. What did I mean by that? I'm a white South African. I could have lived the life of Riley with tremendous privileges, but with terrible conscience, having to lie to myself every day about my life. Parents who came out of England with hardly a penny to scratch their backsides with, who could live a decent life and send me to university. No bursaries, no scholarships, no nothing. Could somehow scrape it together to get me through. And to have all these privileges because I was white. And because I grew up understanding this, I couldn't be apathetically tolerant and just let it go. Because once you've torn aside the veil of lies about South Africa being a democracy, except that black people have no votes and they're the majority. It's like saying Athens was a slave-owning democracy, you know. You can't stand idly by. You have to get involved or live a lie. And we're all told when we're very young, thou shalt not lie, especially to yourself. It's about integrity. And integrity, family of Jewish origin, secular, on one particular important Jewish holiday, I don't know which it was now, my cousins were going to go to the beach and invited me to go to there as well, instead of going to school on this Jewish holiday. And I said to my mum, I'd like to go as well. And she said she wanted me to think about this. She said, if you take the holiday because it's a Jewish religious holiday, then you shouldn't go for entertainment. You should go to worship. You do have to think about your reasoning and your integrity. Well, I loved school, so I went to school. My mum was quite a clever lady, I have to tell you, to get me to think it through instead of ordering me. And I think young people need clever mothers, but they need clever lecturers and teachers as well.